actual practice, according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, we saw that there is a broadening. There is not a particular perfectly monochromatic light which is absorbed. Actually, a range of frequency photons are absorbed by a medium because of the energy spread of the excited state. So because of the energy spread of the excited state, the photons which are absorbed by the atoms, those photons, they have a range of frequencies. So they are not monochromatic, perfectly monochromatic, but there is a range of frequency of photons which are absorbed by the atoms due to the broadening, due to the energy spread of the excited state. So in the previous derivation, we have taken the I nu z intensity per unit frequency interval. So over here, what we will see is that we will consider a beam of light of frequency between nu and nu plus d nu. So the beam of light of frequency which has a range between nu and nu plus d nu is made to fall on the material. So let's say if we have a medium like this. So this is the section that I am taking. So here we have Z and here we have Z plus dz. Now we have light of different frequencies which is made to fall on this material. So we have photons of different frequencies which are made to fall on this slab. So let's say the frequency interval is equal to d nu. The frequency interval of these photons is equal to d nu. So in the previous case, we considered I nu z is the intensity of the light beam per unit frequency interval traveling in the z direction through a layer of atoms, or you can say through a slab which is bounded by the planes z and z plus dz. So in the previous page, we have taken a slab, we had taken a section of thickness dz. And what was the intensity of the light per unit frequency interval which was falling at this point? So we considered this point A and this was the B point. So the intensity of the light which is falling at this plane A, that is given by I nu z. So intensity per unit frequency interval is given by I nu z. So you can just represent it by I nu. So we can just represent it by I nu for simplicity. Now here we have taken a photons of range of frequencies. We are making photons of different frequencies to fall on this material, and the frequency interval of these photons is given by d nu. So these photons, they lie in the frequency range from nu and nu plus d nu. So their frequency interval is equal to d nu. So what will be the intensity of the light? The intensity of the light at this plane A. In this particular case, what will be the intensity of the light at this plane A? So I nu is the intensity per unit frequency interval at this plane A. But over here we are going to find the intensity of the light in the frequency band d nu, because now we do not have a monochromatic light, but we have photons with a certain frequency interval, with a certain frequency range, and their range is equal to d nu. So I nu is the intensity of the light per unit frequency interval. So what will be the intensity of the light in the frequency interval d nu? That will be equal to I nu, which is the intensity per unit frequency interval, into d nu. So this will be the intensity of the light at the plane A. So energy incident per unit area per unit time. Energy incident per unit area per unit time is nothing but intensity. So energy per unit area per unit time is nothing but intensity. So this is the definition of intensity. So intensity which is incident on the slab in the frequency band or in the frequency interval d nu is given by I nu into d nu, where I nu is the intensity per unit frequency interval at this plane A. So at this same plane A, what is the intensity in the frequency band d nu will be just I nu into d nu. Now what will be the decrease in intensity? As these photons, they will travel in this slab, so what will be the decrease in intensity of the light in this particular thickness of dz? So decrease in intensity in this case, let's denote it by minus delta I nu. So there will be a negative sign because we are considering that there is a decrease in intensity. So decrease in intensity is given by minus delta I nu. So this decrease, as we have said in the previous case also, that decrease in intensity is directly proportional to the intensity which is falling on that slab, intensity of the light which is falling on that slab, times the thickness of the slab. Now intensity of the light which is falling on this slab is nothing but I nu into d nu, because now we have photons with range of frequencies and their frequency interval is d nu. So what will be the intensity which is falling on the slab? That will be I nu into d nu. So the decrease in intensity is directly proportional to this term, there will be d nu. So it will be directly proportional to this term, which is the intensity falling on the slab in the frequency range d nu, times dz. So more is the thickness of the slab, more will be the decrease in intensity. And here we have equal sign, so we will introduce a constant which is absorption coefficient in this case also. Now this is the decrease in intensity of the light which has a frequency interval of d nu. So this is the decrease in intensity of the light which has a frequency range from nu and nu plus d nu, or you can say which has a frequency interval of d nu. Now this is the frequency interval that we have considered. So this is the small frequency interval, but in actual, if we have a light beam, it will be a continuous spectrum. Now this d nu is the small frequency interval which we have supposed, but in actual practice we will have a beam which has a frequency range whose frequency range will be large. So this is the small frequency interval which we had taken, that the light beam which is made to fall on this slab has a frequency interval of d nu, but in actual practice the frequency range is large. So if we have to find out the decrease in intensity for this whole beam, what will be the decrease in intensity? That will be equal to integration of this vector, or you can say this right hand side. So d nu is the small frequency interval which we just supposed, but in actual the beam which you have in actual practice will have a large frequency range. So you have to integrate over the whole range of frequency. So here we have just considered that we have a light beam of frequency between nu and nu plus d nu. But if you have a light beam which has a large frequency range, so this is the small frequency interval, but if you have a light beam of large frequency range, in that case you have to integrate over the whole range. So in that case, what will be the decrease in intensity? The decrease in intensity will be nothing but integration of this right hand side. So this I nu and this dz, they can be taken outside the integral. So you will have I nu into dz integration of k nu into d nu. So this integration which we are doing, this integration is done over the width of the line, as we have discussed the line width. So this integration is done over the width of the line. So this will be the net decrease in intensity of the light, and this integration is done over the whole width of the line. Now in this case, the intensity of the light can be written in another way also. The intensity of the light is given by the energy density times the velocity of the light. So intensity of an EM wave is given by its energy density times its velocity. So let's say V is the velocity of the light in the medium. So energy density times the velocity of the light in the medium gives you the intensity of the light. So intensity, over here we have I nu. This I nu can be written as energy density, and let's say the energy density is given by rho nu. Rho nu is the energy density of the light times the velocity of the light in the medium, and let's say that's equal to V. So this is the intensity. Now we will substitute the expression of intensity over here. We will have rho nu into the velocity of the light in the medium into dz times integration of k nu into d nu. Now the energy absorbed in terms of Einstein's coefficient we can find out. So this is the decrease in intensity that is given by this expression. Now we will find the decrease in intensity in terms of Einstein's coefficient. Now if you have two levels like this, now let's say there are some atoms which are present in the ground state, and let's say that n1 number of atoms are present unit volume in the ground state, and n2 number of atoms, let's say, are present in the upper state per unit volume. Now what is the rate of absorption in this case? So we have already done what is the rate of absorption. That is given by, rate of absorption is given by B12 into N1 times rho nu. So rho nu is the energy density, B12 is the probability of the absorption process, N1 is the number of atoms in unit volume in the ground state times rho nu. So this is the rate of absorption. And what is the rate of emission in that case? So in this case we will just take the stimulated emission into account. So we are just taking the stimulated emission into account in this case, because in case of spontaneous emission, the photons are emitted in all the directions. The photons are emitted in all the directions, so they will not contribute much to the output intensity. So only the photons which are emitted through stimulated emission will contribute to the output intensity. So what is the rate of emission that we are going to take? That will be just due to the stimulated emission. So what will be the rate of emission? That will be B21 into N2 into rho nu. So these two expressions we have already done in the previous lectures. So this is the rate of absorption and this is the rate of stimulated emission, and we are not taking into account the rate of spontaneous emission, because the photons in the spontaneous emission process are emitted randomly in all the directions, so they will not contribute much to the output intensity. So what will be the net energy absorbed or net rate of absorption? Net rate of absorption will be equal to this rate minus this rate. So this minus this will give me the net rate of absorption, because this is the emission process and this is the absorption. So there will be a net rate of absorption, and that will be this expression minus this one, because this one is for emission, the photons are emitted, but we are talking about net rate of absorption, and that will be this minus this one. So what will be the rate of absorption? That will be B12 N1 into rho nu minus B21 N2 into rho nu times h nu, which is the energy of the photons which are emitted from the laser medium, that has energy h nu, and this will be the decrease in intensity given in terms of the Einstein coefficients. So these are the two Einstein coefficients, and what is the decrease in intensity in terms of Einstein coefficients? That is the rate of absorption minus rate of emission, because we are talking about decrease in intensity, and decrease will occur when this expression is when there is more absorption as compared to the emission process. So this minus this will give me the net rate of absorption times h nu, which is the energy of the photons which are emitted from a laser medium. Now this is the expression of decrease in intensity which we have got in terms of absorption coefficient, and this is in terms of the Einstein coefficients. So now we are going to equate these two equations. So here one more thing, that when we were writing the decrease in intensity in terms of Einstein coefficients, here this decrease in intensity will also depend upon the thickness. So it will depend upon dz also. So this I forgot to write over here, that the decrease in intensity depends upon the thickness of the slab which we are taking. So the decrease in intensity in terms of absorption coefficient is given by this expression, and this will be equal to the decrease in intensity which we got in terms of Einstein's coefficients, and that was B12 N1 into rho nu was there in both the terms. So rho nu will be taken outside the bracket. So here will be N1 minus B21 into N2 times h nu. So from here this rho nu and rho nu, the energy density will cancel. Now this is the velocity. So this is represented by V, and this is nu. This is the frequency. So the velocity of the light in the medium is given by velocity of light in vacuum divided by the refractive index of the medium. So this is the velocity of the light in the medium, and that is nothing but velocity of light in vacuum divided by the refractive index of the medium. So this will be c by eta, which is the refractive index of the medium, into dz times k nu into d nu will be equal to B12 N1 minus B21 N2 times h nu. And here will be dz, and also here will be dz. So the intensity, decrease in intensity depends upon the thickness also. So this dz and dz will cancel over here, and the integration of k nu over the line width will be equal to, so h nu, this can be taken in front. So h nu into B12 N1 minus B21 N2. This eta, it can be taken over here, and c will come in the denominator. Now over here, let's take this N1 B12 outside the bracket. So you will get h nu into eta divided by c, and B12 and N1 is taken outside. So inside you will have 1 minus B21 N2 over B12 N1. Now B21 over B12, when these states which we have, the energy states which we have, are non-degenerate, in that case B21 and B12, they both are exactly equal. So when the states, the energy states, they are non-degenerate, in that case B21 over B12 will be equal to 1. And if we have degenerate energy states, in that case B21 over B12 will be equal to G1 over G2. And G1 and G2, these are the statistical weight of an energy level. So this concept you will do in the statistical physics and thermodynamics. So there you will study that this G1 and G2 comes when we have degenerate energy states, and these are called as the statistical weight of an energy level. So when we have degenerate energy states, in that case B21 over B12 comes out to be G1 divided by G2. So this will be equal to h nu into eta by c into B12 N1 times 1 minus B21 over B12 can be written as G1 over G2. And if we have non-degenerate energy states, in that case G1 will be equal to 1 and G2 will be equal to 1. So in that case, B21 over B12 will be equal to 1. So in that case, this ratio will be just equal to 1 for non-degenerate energy states. Times N2 by N1 remain as it is. Now over here, we will use the relation that we have done of A21 over B21. So the ratio of these two probabilities we have already found out in the first few lectures, and this ratio came out to be equal to h cut omega cube divided by pi square c cube, where omega is the angular frequency and nu is just the frequency of the photons. So nu and omega are related by a relation of omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So here also you can write omega. You can write the energy of a photon in terms of omega. So in terms of omega, h nu can be written as h cut omega, where h cut is h by 2 pi, and you can write omega as 2 pi nu. So 2 pi and 2 pi will cancel and you will just have h nu. So we are just writing this expression in terms of angular frequency. So this ratio which we have calculated comes out to be h cut omega cube divided by pi square c cube. Now over here we have B12. First of all, what is B12 in terms of B21? What is B12? B12 can be written as G2 over G1 into B21. So this is the expression of B12 in terms of B21. So B12 will be equal to G2 over G1 into B21. And what is B21? B21 can be written from here. So B21, when you will take B21 on one side, so this expression of B12 will be G2 over G1 as it is. Now what is B21? B21 will be A21 into pi square c cube divided by h cut omega cube. So this is the expression of B21 which we have solved from this equation. So B12 can be written as equal to this expression in terms of A21. So this B12 can be written in terms of A21. So this k nu d nu integration will be equal to h cut omega eta by c. What is B12? B12 is G2 over G1 A21 pi square c cube divided by h cut omega cube. This is the expression of B1. This is the expression of B12 times N1 as it is into 1 minus G1 over G2 as it is N2 over N1. When you will further simplify this expression, you will get the final expression of integration of k nu into d nu. So this is the final expression of how the absorption coefficient is related to population inversion. So you can see over here we have N2 over N1. So let's say N2 is very less than N1. In the normal condition, N2 is less than N1. In that case, this bracket, this term inside this square bracket will be positive under normal conditions. In that case, the absorption coefficient will be positive. In the opposite case, when there is population inversion, in that case N2 will be far greater than N1. So in that case, this expression inside the square bracket will come out to be negative. Therefore, the absorption coefficient in that case also will come out to be negative. So this is the final expression that we have got of how the absorption coefficient is related to population inversion, and this formula is nothing but Fishburne-Ladenburg formula. So this is the whole derivation of Fishburne-Ladenburg formula and how the absorption coefficient. So this formula gives us that how the absorption coefficient is related to population inversion.